Today is April 29th, 2020, but regardless of the date, we actually have something to talk about that's applicable to your birth charts, as it always is. And today, that is the Pluto-Moon opposition, or the Moon-Pluto opposition, as you can see right here. Now, as the Moon opposes Pluto, we have to discuss what an opposition means. First, just so you can see, an opposition is going to be horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'm at such an awkward angle here. With the Moon on one side of the zodiac, Pluto on the other, and then you get this opposition right here. Now, the opposition itself is about taking the original evolutionary intent and transforming it. Don't get thrown off by the terminology here. Evolutionary intent. All that means, evolutionary just means that it's a process of development. And the intent just means that we intend to undergo a process of development. We want to develop ourselves. That makes perfect sense, right? Who wouldn't want to develop? Who wouldn't want to grow? That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. Pluto is a planet of transformation. The Moon is the ruler of the emotions, the unconscious. It's very connected with the soul, as is Pluto. Now, we just have to discover what the original evolutionary intent is. Because if our goal with the opposition is to transform that evolutionary intent, we want to know what that intention is. In this case, that intention is to transform our instinctive Moon instincts, instinctive emotional Moon, okay, reactions. Guess we're just writing this for effect because you probably can't read that. So what we're doing is we're transforming or reforming our instinctive emotional reactions. That makes sense. Which means, in this case, it's reactions to external circumstances. Now, the opposition means that we have to take our original evolutionary intent, our intent to go through a process of development, and we have to begin to socialize that intention. Meaning we have to meet our desires with a social need out in society. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Why? Because we want to link ourselves up with something beyond ourselves. And the opposition is a time to do so. As you can see, these planets are looking each other in the eyes, so to speak. They're exactly across the table from one another, which means we're trying to come to some sort of terms with the energies of both. We're trying to reconcile something, our desire with the desire of others, our emotional reactions with the emotions of others. The Moon being a very cyclical planet, right? Goes around the zodiac every single month like clockwork. It waxes, it wanes, it gets full, it gets dark, right? We go through these constant cycles like clockwork. One thing that we're transforming or reforming is those cycles. We want to change how we emotionally react to external circumstances. Now, in order to do that, we have to have some sort of conflict with the environment that helps us to look within and see what's going on. Now, the changing of the cycles of the Moon. With the changing of the cycles of our emotional reactions, instinctive reactions, we're going to find that we oftentimes end up repeating the same cycles. So if you have this aspect in your birth chart, even though your best intention, and you may have already decided in your mind that you want to change, you don't want to repeat the same emotional outburst, the same mistakes, but yet you can't help but find yourself in positions where it continues to happen. This can lead to self-anger, self-hatred, really powerful, deep, dark emotions like Pluto represents. Pluto is about all of these unconscious, repressed emotions. Pluto is the ruler of the underworld, where we encounter all of these things that we just have not been facing. Once we come face to face with these darker emotions, we are then forced to take some sort of evaluation of ourselves and then to make a proper adjustment as part of our process of development. One way that we can overcome getting stuck in these cycles is understanding the kinds of confrontations that we will run into if we have these types of Pluto moon aspects in our chart, or if we're just dealing with the Pluto moon cycles that are happening month to month. This, today, personally, this afternoon, exactly, 12:01 p.m. to be precise, about an hour before, maybe a couple hours after, we will feel this just because it's happening in the sky. Some of us will feel this differently depending on how these planets interact with each other in one's own personal birth chart. Now, the types of confrontations that occur is the need to shut down because we feel overwhelmed emotionally, and the need to continue forward, meaning to get in touch with others. With the opposition, it's a social aspect. We have to socialize our intent, which means we may feel the need to get animate with others. We also may feel the need to preserve our own desires, our own growth, and our own individuality by withdrawing from others because we don't want to lose who we are in the process of that exchange. Meaning that when we go out into the world and interact with other people, we risk losing ourselves in all of their wants, in all of their desires. We lose a little bit of our own will to the higher will of the collective. And although it's important to take our evolutionary intent, which in this case is to get our emotions in check, which is in this case to get our instinctive emotional responses to external circumstances transformed by using those same circumstances to take a look at ourselves and see what our real intentions are. Emotionally, why are we meeting this? So what happens is that when we withdraw from people, we tend to run into circumstances where people press up on us in order to get us to come out and be more animate, meaning we've withdrawn too long, and now Pluto is bringing up a time where we have to begin to come out of our shell again, to become social once again. Then, once we become social, sometimes we get overwhelmed with all these different energies and we're not looking within ourselves. And then people try to push us during maybe conversation or in our own work, whatever it may be, to where we have to reveal our true intentions behind what we're saying and what we're doing. So these things tend to come up and we have to respond and understand what they mean. Meaning if we're not discussing things with people, if we're becoming inanimate, we're withdrawing, which is okay, then we will run into circumstances like we may do this afternoon where the universe says you need to be more animate. You need to get into some sort of social interaction, some sort of social circumstance where you can begin to support the emotional needs of others and learn to have emotional independence, meaning you're not dependent on other people for your emotional security, for your own emotional well-being. So the circumstance comes up and they push you out of your shell, and so you become animate. Now, once you get animate, Then what happens? So you start to interact. Then people begin to push you. That's what Pluto does. It creates confrontation, conflict. The conflict is designed to push you to the next evolutionary step, right? Evolutionary intent. It's to get you into another process of development. That's it. Through which transformation can be had. Now, with that transformation, we reach the next evolutionary stage. So you see what's going on here. The conflict is created at times like this. When a certain planet is in a certain relationship with another planet. In this case, with Pluto. When a planet is in relationship with Pluto, there will be some sort of conflict in the nature of that planet. The conflict will then serve a purpose. The purpose is to get you to look at yourself or at others and to figure out what adjustments need to be made. Because this happens, because it's so unconscious, okay, because this is such an unconscious process, what tends to happen is we don't know what to do. So we repeat the cycles, which are the moon, right? When we repeat the cycles, we tend to build up that self-hatred, that anger, that rage at ourselves because despite our best intentions to change, we haven't been able to do it. And we don't know why. And part of it is that we haven't learned to be emotionally sustained. If you have aspects like this in your chart, then what is going on is that you may have been battling with the mother archetype, the moon, the female, the mother, okay? And then you may have had situations in your life where the mom or some sort of female figures in your life tended to withdraw their emotional support for you. Now, for those of you who've had the emotional support of a parent, like mom, and haven't had to deal with the darker shades of this, or those of you who haven't been able to face the darker shades of this, are missing out on your own evolution. Those of you who haven't had to deal with it have had a good role model, have been able to probably go out and support other people so that other people can gain their emotional independence. You've been able to link your will with the desires of the collective, right? Collective desires. Collective will, higher will. So when you've linked those things up, you begin to accomplish what is denoted by this aspect right here, which is the opposition. So that should begin to make sense to anybody. Check your own birth charts. I mean, you can obviously contact me. I'm offering readings every week, Monday through Wednesday, by appointment on other days. I'm on call Monday through Wednesday. And you can get in touch with me and we can go over your birth chart in depth. There's many aspects, not just ones to Pluto. There's Moon and Jupiter aspects. There's Sun and Saturn aspects. There's all sorts of relationships between planets that are unique and individual within your own chart, that are in their own houses and signs. We didn't even get into that. That's how exciting astrology can be. Yes, it can be a bit complex, but when we break it down like this, you can see that it's not that complicated. We just have to understand it's its own language. And I'm here to help interpret it for you. If you just want to look at this based on the videos that I put out, you can pull up your chart on Cafe Astrology. You can look at your chart and see, it'll say Moon is in aspect to Pluto, whether it's by conjunction or sextile or whatever it may be. And they'll give you a list of your aspects, and then you can say, oh, well, some of this type of stuff is going on with me and the moon, because I have the moon in relationship to Pluto in my own birth chart. So today, it's Wednesday, I will be on call all day, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then if you decide to get a reading with me today, all you got to do is go to the link in the description that I post with this, and then you'll be able to find that. If not, I hope you have a great day. I hope you found this information helpful. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.